Hello and welcome to the New Indian Express Online. I'm Bansi Kalapa. With me is a very special guest. We have with us the chairman of Indian Overseas Congress, Mr. Sam Pitroda. Welcome on the program, Mr. Pitroda.
Thank you.
My first question to you, is there an attempt to revive the Overseas Congress which had become rather inactive?
Well, Overseas Congress was not inactive. Overseas Congress is in 32 countries
All right.
already. We
Yeah.
have many programs going on for several years in different countries. We are in US, Canada, UK, most of the European countries,
Mhm.
Australia, New Zealand. We are not that active in Africa and Latin America, but the rest of the places we are very active.
Mhm.
With a lot of local programs, you don't get to hear about these things back home.
Correct.
You get to hear about it back home only when Rahul Gandhi comes here or some other political leader comes here.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, Indian people have very little interest in what goes on with the Indian community in local areas.
Correct. Uh, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, former AICC president, was in Europe for about 5 days. What is the feedback that we're getting from his visit to Europe?
Well, this is part of a program that we have been working on for quite some time now.
Mhm.
Rahul was in England at Cambridge, Chatham House, and other places.
Mhm.
Then he came to the US, where we spent 2 days in Silicon Valley, 2 days in Washington, D.C., and 2 days in New York City. Then we decided that it is time to meet up with the EU, European Union. So we spent a day in Brussels,
Mhm.
a day in Paris, a day in Hague and Amsterdam, and a day in Oslo.
Mhm.
The overall reception was very good. We met with a lot of political leaders, members of the parliament, ministers. We met with media. We met with the student community, which is our main sort of focus. Well, Rahul interacted with two universities in Paris, Sciences Po and INALCO, two universities in Hague
Mhm.
and Amsterdam, and an Oslo University in Norway. So overall, it was very productive.
Mhm.
At these events, we get to interact with people who are more concerned about what is happening to democracy world over,
Mhm.
because we firmly believe
Mhm.
that Indian democracy is larger global public good. Indian democracy is sliding in our judgment.
Mhm.
What is on the ground is very different from what is verbalized
Mhm.
and seen in media. We believe institutions are captured. Media is part of it. Civil society is under stress. And a lot of lies being propagated. Misinformation campaigns work in many ways.
Mhm.
And the ground realities are very different.
Mhm.
And we are very concerned about that. And it is our job to communicate to Indian diaspora and others. We understand this is our problem that we have to sort it out in India.
Mhm.
But people need to know what's happening. And I tell you, we were quite surprised at the kind of awareness in EU people had about what is going on in India. Some people don't speak up, but they are aware of the realities on the ground.
Mhm.
They are aware how minorities are being treated.
Mhm.
They are aware how religion is played in the front line. And these are concerns to people. I'm just finishing a book on the idea of democracy. To me, democracy is not about institutions or elections. It is about the values you believe in. Do you believe in inclusion, diversity, respect, dignity, truth, trust? That is what democracy is all about. It is not about the fact that we conducted elections. How were elections conducted? Were they fair? These are the kind of issues that we need to look at in democracy.
What is Mr. Rahul Gandhi's main message now that he's been to Europe for 5 days? He's had so many interactions.
I think there are multiple messages.
Mhm.
First message is that, as I said earlier, Indian democracy is larger global public good.
Mhm.
Don't assume that Indian democracy will remain within India.
Mhm.
It has huge implications on the world.
Mhm.
If Indian democracy goes in wrong direction, not only India will pay, but the world will pay. Two, today, India offers an opportunity to lead the movement of production
Mhm.
from autocratic country like China to democratic country like India.
Mhm.
All production has moved to China. US and Europe remain very concerned about the Chinese threats.
Mhm.
China has a vision on Belt and Road Initiative. There is no such vision in the democratic world. Democratic world must create a vision, not just to compete with China, but to provide right alternative. And that vision has to be embedded, according to Rahul Gandhi, in moving production and capabilities to democratic world. We got to create jobs
Mhm.
in Europe, US, and India. We cannot assume that you will be able to create jobs with all your production in China. It's not possible.
Mhm.
So that's the message.
Mhm.
Message is about inclusion. Message is about truth, trust, respect for other human beings. The message is very Gandhian. Message is the message of the Congress party. Congress party has a different idea of India and democracy
Mhm.
than BJP and RSS has. And it's very clear in terms of understanding. And we want to express that very clearly to everybody. And it is not a matter of criticism. It is not a matter of knocking anybody down, but it's a matter of putting it on the table.
We've seen Mr. Rahul Gandhi visit US. We saw him visit Europe. Is Southeast Asia next? You know, will it be Southeast Asia next?
We think we have to go visit Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
We have to also visit again Middle East.
Mhm.
We do need to go to Australia and New Zealand as well,
Mhm.
because we have large diaspora communities in these parts of the world.
Mhm.
And most of the diaspora people are very concerned about what is going on in India. You basically have two groups. You have one group which which heavily believe in temples, RSS, and BJP view. And you have another group that is more open, more concerned about democracy, freedom, human rights, free press. So you are basically divided. As you are divided in Indian politics, you are equally divided in diaspora.
Mhm.
I mean, look at the politics. You have all these parties coming together
Mhm.
under the banner of India.
Mhm.
What are they all saying? They are all saying we don't like the kind of politics that is going on in India.
Mhm.
It is divisive. It is not good for the future of India.
Mhm.
It will not really result in peace and prosperity in the long run.
Mhm.
And we are concerned about that.
You brought up the issue of Mahatma Gandhi. Let me ask you, you were born in Orissa, you grew up in Gujarat. Do you think Mahatma Gandhi's ideals, his thoughts, his values have any relevance in Indian politics anymore,
Are you
realistically
kidding?
speaking?
Are you kidding? Mahatma Gandhi is more relevant to the world today than ever before. You have to understand Mahatma Gandhi in the right context.
Mhm.
Okay, it is like looking at a knife. You can think of knife to kill somebody, and you can think of knife to cut your vegetables.
Mhm.
It's like technology. You can use and you can abuse.
Absolutely.
Mahatma Gandhi really stood for people at the bottom of the economic pyramid.
Mhm.
Mahatma Gandhi stood for truth, trust, love, democracy,
Mhm.
inclusion. Mahatma Gandhi was an example of freedom, freedom of speech, justice, respect, dignity. Today, world needs Mahatma Gandhi, not just in India. I think world American politics needs Mahatma Gandhi. European politics needs Mahatma Gandhi.
Mhm.
I mean, look at the scene in India even today after 70 years.
Mhm.
10% of the people control most of the key jobs. You look at how many Dalits, OBCs, and others are in our legal system,
Mhm.
administration, politics, business. We have huge inequality, more so than in any other country.
Mhm.
Inequality is not good for the society. We need more OBC and Dalits and minorities in the mainstream. We can't leave them behind. Today, the way it is structured is that we are going to ignore them.
Mhm.
It is not in the larger interest of the public.
Mhm.
It is not in the larger interest of our production system,
Mhm.
our economy, our jobs, our education, our health system. And that is the challenge. We got to lift people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. And that's what Gandhiji always talked about.
Mhm.
My role model always has been Gandhiji. Anyone who doesn't respect Gandhiji, anyone who undermines Gandhian ideas, don't get much respect from me. Sorry. Gandhi was my role model, remains my role model, and I believe world needs more of Gandhi in terms of decentralization, bottom-up development, concern for environment. All of these are fundamental issues world is facing today.
Mhm.
I believe after World War II, if we had gone Gandhian way as opposed to Western way, world would be very different today.
Mhm.
We will not have these global warming issues. We will not have issues of unemployment, inequality. You see, today, very few people control huge amount of wealth, and lots of people are still poor. It is true in India, it is true in America, it is true everywhere.
Mhm.
I think the over concern or too much emphasis on profits and power has really distracted us from needed focus on planet and people. We need to be focused on humanity and not on religion. We need to focus on planet and not necessarily on only profit.
Mm.
Look at what we have done to our environment. In my generation, the environment has become a challenge. It wasn't a big challenge when I was growing up as a little kid.
Mm.
Air was clean. Look at the pollution in Delhi. Look at pollution in Indian cities. It is a major concern.
Uh, Mr. Gandhi visited, Mr. Rahul Gandhi visited Europe for 5 days. There was this talk in the media that just as G20 was starting here, he went off on his European visit. Was it anything to do with G20? It
No,
coincided.
no, no, it was nothing to do with G20. But, we also knew that this would be a good time for him to be, talking to people abroad. We had already planned. These things take about 3-4 months to plan.
Mhm.
These visits require lead time.
Mhm.
And in Europe, most of the people were on vacation during August.
Okay.
So first week of September was ideal. And then we thought, let them settle down for first week after coming back from vacation. So second week of September would be better.
Okay.
So we started with 7th of September. It was that simple.
Okay.
Couldn't do it in August because they were on vacation.
Okay. On the same issue, there is one other question that Bharatiya Janata Party has been criticizing Mr. Rahul Gandhi for speaking about India abroad in not so nice a way. There have been very many comments on that. So, how would you like to respond to that?
I don't think it is about nice way or bad way. It is about facts, truth.
Mhm.
If you don't like truth, too bad. Okay. It is not about, you see, India is too big.
Mhm.
India is too open. India is too diverse.
Okay,
Nothing today remains local. Everything is global.
absolutely.
What happens in small little village in India is a global issue.
Mhm.
So this idea of going abroad and talking about India is still very old mindset. Everything is important to everybody.
Mhm.
Just because you're not an Indian doesn't mean India is not important to you.
Okay.
And it's okay to talk about India abroad, some good, some bad.
Mhm.
You're not there to criticize anybody, but you can criticize government as the
Absolutely.
opposition leader. That's your job. So that's perfectly normal. But criticizing government of India is not criticizing India.
Okay. So, thank you, Mr. Pitroda. There it is, Mr. Sam Pitroda, chairman of the Indian Overseas Congress, speaking to us soon after the conclusion of, of the 5 day visit of Mr. Rahul Gandhi to Europe. Thank you for joining us on this program.
Thank you.